Hey guys, today we're going to show you through a basketball specific program. Okay, it's going to be very similar to what you guys have been doing in the gym. However, you're going to have to get innovative at home with your use of resistance. Okay, so get creative, look around the house. You want to be able to progressively overload each exercise, but basically the structure is similar to what we'd normally do in the gym. DK is going to talk us through the structure of today's session.
Okay guys, so basically there is 5 complexes where there's 2 exercises in each complex. You will complete 4 sets of each complex before moving on to the next one and moving through the circuit. So for example, with the first complex, you're doing a single leg deadlift or a step up, and that's being complex with a base landing. You will complete that 4 sets through, and then you'll move on to the second complex. Very simple, very similar to what we do in the gym as a squad. Okay, so there shouldn't be any confusion there. Good luck.
Okay, the first complex is going to be a single leg deadlift or a step up. Okay, so you can see Dave here is using a band to resist it. So he's got that band loop under the arch of his foot. He's creating a nice long line as he hinges over from his heel through to the tip of his head. He's keeping his chest up and he's maintaining a nice flat back. Okay, big squeeze of the glutes at the top and really engage. So slow controlled lowering, big squeeze at the top. There's the first way you can load the single leg deadlift. Okay, moving on, around the house you might have a medicine ball or some kind of object that's got some weight to it, and you're doing the same movement, essentially just loading it slightly differently. You can see DK here is keeping the ball nice and close to his shin, okay, and that protects the lower back. Here he's got something a little bit heavier in the jerry can, but you can see the movement doesn't change. Almost grazing the shin as he lowers, squeezing the glute at the top. Okay, complex number 1 again. To add some variation, ideally we're doing this session 2 or 3 times a week. So on alternate sessions, you change that first exercise up for a step up. Okay, DK is going to show us here. All the weight is through the front foot. He drives hard through the front foot and comes up into an A-frame position. Driving hard, driving through the heel, and that following leg comes up high into an A-frame position. So DK here is loading it with a jerry can. You've got to get creative here. You can fill your backpack up with books. Here he is again, showing us some variation in resistance using a ball. Okay. So you can hear DK there driving into the box, squeezing hard, coming up. Okay, part B of the first complex is a base landing from a height. So today DK is going to demonstrate from around a knee height, stepping off this bench. Okay, but what you want to do is if you're newer to training, especially in the basketball program, you're going to take maybe off 2 steps or off mid-shin height. Okay, you'll start doing your landings from there and then you'll progress higher. Alternatively, if you're a senior basketballer in the Shore program and you're very comfortable at landing from knee height, you might look to up that height to something between waist and knee height. Okay, as long as you can stick that landing comfortably, okay, that is how you know that you are ready to progress. So DK here, stepping off with 1 foot and a nice solid landing there. Okay, so you're going to stick the landing and really absorb force as you land. You can see he's in a position there that I can push him and he's not budging. Okay, so athletic stance, the importance here is in the landing. He has arms pulling back behind him as if he's pulling the chute, and he's in that athletic stance. He'll do 1 more here. Okay, and he's in a solid base landing position there. 5 reps of those with a minute recovery before you move on. Okay, the second complex is an upper body pulling movement. So this is often quite hard to do at home, depending on what equipment you have. Ideally, if you had a chin-up bar, that'd be a perfect piece of equipment to use. Alternatively, we're going to show you a few ways that you can load a upper body pulling exercise. First one is a seated row. DK is going to use a resistance band here. He's going to loop it around the arches of his feet and then he's going to cross the band over. So he's holding it in opposite hands. Okay. From there, he maintains a soft bend in the knees, and that helps him maintain that upright spine. So neck is nice and long. He's going to start there. He's going to pull his elbows behind him, trying to squeeze his shoulder blades with each rep. Slow release. Squeezing tight. Imagine DK is trying to squeeze my finger with his shoulder blades there. Slow release. To increase the resistance there, DK would walk his hands further down the band. Alternatively, if that's too strong with the band you've got, you'd walk further back up the band. Squeezing tight, slow release, nice upright spine and a long neck. Okay, the second one DK is going to show us is a standing bent over row, and he's going to use the same band for this exercise. So he's going to loop it under both feet. Hip width stance with the feet there. He's going to hinge over as if he was doing a deadlift. Nice flat back, eyes down on the ground, and he's going to pull his elbows up to the roof. Squeezing tight, lowering down. Same again, his elbows are going to the roof and his scapula are squeezing tight. Okay, to make it harder, he'd walk further down the band. Easier, he'd take it up the band. Okay, very important to maintain that flat spine. Okay, moving on, if you don't have a band at home, DK is going to show us something. Ideally, you've got a handle, so he's got a jerry can here. He's going to do a double-handed bent over row. So nice and flat back again, bringing that up to his chest and slow release. He could go to a single arm row here if he held it in his hand. Okay, so from there, pulling elbow to roof and down. So this is a great one to use with household equipment that's got a handle, so a tub of detergent, a watering can, something like that you can do your single arm rows with. So get creative with that one. Remember all the key cues. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, neck nice and long. Okay, the second complex, part B, is a box jump. Okay, we know all basketballers like to jump higher, and it's an essential part of the game. So box jump, you're going to find a height. Okay, this is often hard finding the right height for your jump. So this jump for DK is going to be quite easy. So he's going to try and clear that height by as much as possible. Okay, this is an explosive movement, and you're looking to jump as high as you can with each rep. That's good. See, DK stomps the landing there and lands in a very high position. Make sure when you're stepping off, it's a safe. If DK was off a larger height, he would look to step down onto something. Stomps the landing, lands high. So it's 5 reps for this explosive jump squat, and then you rest before moving on to the A part of the complex. Okay, the third complex, A part of the complex, is a goblet squat. So you're going to load this in a front-loaded goblet position, and you can be creative with the resistance you use. First up, some of you might have a dumbbell lying around the house, or you may have borrowed one. DK is going to show us a goblet squat here using a dumbbell. Okay, so he's bending through the hips, knees and ankles, aiming to put his bum down towards his heels, and his back's nice and flat. So he's keeping that weight or resistance close to his chest, and a big squeeze of the glutes at the top. So there's the first piece of equipment. Next up, he's going to load the exercise using a ball. So medicine ball, anything with any kind of resistance, a pot plant laying around in the backyard. Exactly the same mechanics with each resistance. Bending through the hips, knees and ankles, keeping the back nice and straight. Third one, a heavy resistance again, a full jerry can. Keeping his heels on the ground at all times, toes pointing forward, maintaining focus of technique rather than loading this. Techniques of focus, load is second. And that's 10 reps. Part B of complex 3 is a lateral bound and stick. So we're moving laterally, pushing away from the outside foot and making an emphasis on sticking the landing. So DK is going to show us, it's good to have something in the middle that you have to clear. So he pushes the ground away and sticks with the outside leg. Push away and land. You can see DK isn't swinging with that inside leg. All the force is coming from pushing the ground away. Soft landing, stick it and push the ground away. Okay, complex 4 is an upper body horizontal push exercise. We're doing 10 push-ups. You either do these body weight Okay, if you can master body weight push-ups quite easily for 10, then you're going to look to add some external resistance to your push-ups. DK is going to show us first of all how to set up for a banded push-up to add some resistance. Okay, you can see he has the band looped around one hand, flicks it around his back, and that is just resting over the top of his shoulder blades there. Okay, so he's in a high push-up position. Okay, lowering himself down to about 1 inch off the ground, up and squeeze at the top. So he's got engagement through the glutes, he's got a nice flat back, and he's got a nice long neck at the top. So a nice flat back, long neck position there for your banded push-ups. Number 2, a lot of us will be aware of this, is a plated push-up. So he's going to place that on his back himself. The bottom of the plate is going to be sitting right at the top of the waistband of his shorts. Okay, a little bit of core stability here required to balance the plate. So same push-up mechanics, lowering himself to the ground and then pushing the ground away. You can see Dave lowers himself forward and down and pushes himself back and up. 10 slow controlled reps there with the weight that you select. Okay, alternatively, if you have no equipment suitable to load the push-up, you can do what's known as tempo push-ups. So DK is going to hold at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower halfway down, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at the bottom, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pushing up. You're going to do this 5 times, so 5 reps, 5-second hold top, middle and bottom, and that adds extra time under tension. Complex number 4, part B, is an ankle proprioception stability exercise, and it's used as like a bit of a prehab for when we get back into training and into basketball. So DK is going to, first progression would be just to do this 30-second single leg balance off the ground, and then you would get something, an unstable surface in the house. So we've found a jumper here, folded it up. Alternatively, you can use a pillow, something unsteady in the house. So DK here is in like a mid-stance position. Imagine you're in a running stride. All the weight is sort of centered around the ball of his foot here where he would strike when running. Idea being you want to have that sort of shaking and instability in the ankle. If Dave is finding this easy, which I'm sure he is, he's going to close his eyes down here and just reduce that level of balance there. You can see now his ankle's working much harder. Again, if he was to progress this even further, okay, he would close his eyes and then he would turn his head from side to side, and that just sort of affects his equilibrium, and you can see that really challenges his stability. So it's 30 seconds of each leg, each round through this complex. Okay, the 5th and final complex is a lower body lunge pattern, and it's a dumbbell reverse lunge. Okay, you can change the resistance up with whatever you've got in the house. DK today is going to show us the goblet loaded dumbbell reverse lunge. So he steps back with one foot, drops that knee back to just above the ground, and then pushes forward and up. So he steps back, right angles with his front and back knee. All the weight is through that front leg as he comes up and out of the lunge position. Okay, so you're going to alternate legs there, and it's 10 reps on each leg. Okay, then you've got to get creative. What you've got around the house, luckily DK's got a weight plate. He can hold that at his chest and do his dumbbell reverse lunge. Nothing changes here in the mechanics of the lunge, just the different resistance. You can see DK's working at a nice tempo. Okay, and he's got nice angles throughout that lunge. Number 3 is a jerry can. Stepping back, back knee just off the ground, driving up and out of the lunge. Great technique there from DK. Complex number 5, part B, is a pogo jump. So here we're looking for ankle stiffness and getting that real stiff ankle drive into the ground. You'll notice once DK demonstrates here, there's very little movement through the hips and knees. Okay, it's all looking at that elasticity in the ankle. So from here he's going 8 reps. You can see very little movement through the hips and knees. It's all coming through that ankle joint. You can see he's sticking the landing at the end. So that 8 jumps, nice and stiff, going for maximal height with each jump.